Hey guys, Adam Perry here with TrueDFS, and I'm going to go over today's NHL DFS slate. But before I start going over today's slate, I think we want to do the important stuff that we usually do last. We're going to do it first because we get so many questions about it. And frankly, I'm interested in the answers too. And that's what kind of stack should we build? What kind of stacks grade the best? Right? Because the ones we build and that grade well pre-sim are not necessarily the ones that grade well post-sim. So I have yesterday's contest pulled up here, and I have yesterday's 333 pulled up that I was in. Now, full disclosure, I didn't do great in sim EV. Like my EV was like positive, but not great, 5.8. And I used Saber Sim, but I just dipped a little lower in the pool. And maybe that's the reason. It had a weak projection on Wedgwood compared to like Swayman. You see it grading all these Swayman lineups really well. But in any event, let's look at like what kind of stacks did well for this, and then we'll look at the MME. We'll say this is equivalent to small field, kind of covers our single entry. Then we'll go into today's slate and see what we got. But just looking at the top ROI lineups, now obviously these, the sim knows what it knows with its inputs. So we can't expect these kind of expected values. But I think, we can get an idea for where they rank them at least, and what kind of lineups did well. And people who ask, should you play onslaughts? This correlation, how much does it matter? Should you build non-4-3s and up? I think the answer is a resounding no. I mean, the top ROI lineup, 6-stack, 5-2, a 4-3, a 4-3, a 5-2, a 5-2, a 5-2. You have to go down to about the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're going down to about the 8th or 9th lineup till you get this 3-2 in here that grades well. And then you go back to 4-3, 5-2, 4-3, 4-3. You get a 4-2-2, but then 5-2, 5-2. You get a 3-3 in here. Then a 6-man, 5-mans, 5-mans. The Onslaught's doing really well. Now, I'll say this, like, who's playing them should say something to us too. I mean, CKK, known to be a great player, so we could respect his game, and he's got the 3-3 going. But in general, I don't want to mess with it, right? I don't want to mess with the 3-2s, with the 3-3s, with the 4-2-2s, the 4-2s that okay, you could get ones that grade well, but look at the negative ROI lineups. Let's look at what does the worst in the pool. It's a 3-2, it's a 4-2, 2-2, 3-2-2, 3-man, 2-2-2, 3-2-2, 3-2. Here's a 5-man, 3-2, 4-2, 3-2. Here's a 5-2 that's grading poorly, but then 3-2, 4-2, 3-2-2. So my idea of sticking with 4-3 and up, or even 5-2 and up, I'm going to stick with it in these 3-3-3s that I play. We'll move over to the MME and see if it's any different. But we can see. Let's see before we go what CKK played. Is there a way to see pinned users? Maybe he only had one. Is that it? All right, we'll go by alphabetical then. We can see what Squid did too. Someone we respect. So in his 7 lineups, so CKK has a little bit of everything. He's got the onslaughts, but he's also got these, 3-3s. I wonder if that's a portfolio management thing too. So certainly respect his game. But if you're looking at what we could do as mere mortals in the DFS streets, we could check that correlation lever to get great ROIs and to stay away from the bad stuff. Let's see what Squid did. Now I know he uses Saber Sim at least to build lineups. I think we've heard, got the info on him. 4-3s, 5-2s. He's got 1-4-2 in there. 5-2s, 6-mans. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of good players running the high correlated stuff. It sims really well. I think we have an answer, at least for the small field, that you just don't want to dip down below 4.3. So people have asked, would you make rules? Would you do that? I would just say pre-build to say only build me 4.3 and above. And we'll do that when we go on to today's slate. Let's take a look at the flagship and see what graded well. Oh, this is the poke check. Okay, even better, because this is a bigger field. Here you still see correlation is king. A 5-man grading the best, 4.3, 6s, 5s, 5.2. Get a 4.22 in there, but correlation really matters. Here's the first 3.3. It's not like 3.3 is not correlated, right? I mean, it's still strong correlations, but check that correlation lever. Look at what lineups grade well. I just, and let's see what grades poorly. I mean, it's going to, 3.2, 2.22, 2, 2.2, 3.2. These are just the worst lineups you could build. And you can get plus EV ones. We see plus EV lineups like this. But can you get them? And how many can you get? And when you only get to build 5,000 lineups, how much do you want that trade-off? How much of your 5,000 pool do you want to be crap versus stuff that can potentially be a candidate lineup that could be grade really nicely? And maybe you get 100, 2.2, 3.2, 3.3s, whatever, 200 in your 5,000 pool that do grade well. But that's that many more. You get 400 or 500 that grade poorly, and you just wasted some of your 5,000 where you could have been building more candidate lineups that could potentially sim well and be a part of your portfolio. So I don't know. I mean, I think if we are to trust SaberSim, we have an answer there. Now this is a 10-game slate, so we'll take a look tomorrow at tonight's 5-game slate and see how this goes. But when we've looked in the past, we've seen similar results. So I think, per SaberSim, I'm answering that question of what would you do. Now, how would I do it? We'll go to today's slate and we'll start building. So I'm not going to make changes to salary, but I'm going to say, just forget all these. I don't see any reason to make rules, but just give me a pool filled with lineups that could potentially be high ROI. And don't give me, yes, 4.22s, we saw 4.2s and 3.3s and 3. We saw that they can grade well, but there's not enough of them grading well to make it worth getting hundreds of them in my small pool of 5,000 lineups. I'm going to switch to Goldie's projections. Get some updates here. And I'm going to build. While it's building, I'll give a plug. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out TrueDFS.com. NBA 2526 is a promo code you could use. You get 30% off your first month. So you get SaberSim, and you get Sheets' projections, Goldie's projections, Premium Discord, Pater, the analytics model for DFS and betting. You get all of that. And your first month will be less than SaberSim. Other months, it comes out to like $30 more, but you get so much on top of it. I really think it's a really unique package and one of the most robust you could get in the industry. So check it out. Danny Pettiford, do you use the optimizer or the Sims, and what is the difference between? I use the Sims. So what's the optimizer doing? The optimizer is saying, okay, take projection, and then you need to set rules, right? If you're using an optimizer, because it's saying just take the best projected lineups you could build. So build, then you're going to get all these kind of silly stacks and things. So I use the Sims, and what's the difference? So the optimizer is just taking the best projected guys and loading them in, right? And it's not going to take into account correlation, and it's not going to take into account ownership and all these things. What the Sims are doing is saying, take the best projected lineups that are correlated in a certain way, right? We set a rule for that. We did set exposures, as you saw a minute earlier. So give me these kind of lineups and run play-by-plays of the hockey game. See which lineups would win the given slate in that play-by-play simulation, and then give me that lineup and say that's a candidate lineup. And then what we're going to do, Danny, is we're going to take those and put them against what we think people in our contests are going to do, what lineups we think they're going to play, right? Not just their ownership of what they're going to play, but what kind of stacks they're going to play, how the combinations of players are going to look. And we're going to take those top graded lineups that we have and put them against what we think the field's going to do and see how they perform over time. So we're going to, see how they perform 100,000 times, 10,000 times, whatever number it is. And we're going to say, okay, this lineup in 10,000 simulations wins, 3 times, and it cashes 400 times, and it could, and it's going to be able to tell you what is its return on investment then based on those data. So it's really an interesting and the new 2025 SimWar way of calculating your EV and building the best lineups that can grade the best over time, Danny. So the Sims are better. I mean, I think the Sims are better. The Sims, the only way the Sims aren't good is if your fields are terrible or just are really way off. Now there's caution with using the Sims, Danny, because the Sims also assume, right, it grades them based on your projections. So there's always a bias towards what SaberSim thinks, right? So that's why I don't love the idea of like looking at what's the Sim ROI is at 90%, because that's not true. But we could look at the rankings and see what ranks better, right? And we could look at other SaberSim users and see how you perform against them in their sim. And are you the best SaberSim user according to their numbers? So the Sims are definitely better. I highly recommend it. You can get them through us at TrueDFS.com. Little plug, but I think it's a great deal. So let's check it out. Let's run a sim now. I play in the 3-3-3. So let's run a sim for it and see which stack grades the best. Take a look while it's going there at news. I didn't see anything earlier. There's this one little thing. Rasmus Sandin's going to play tonight versus St. Louis. He's 2,600. He'd probably get 20 plus minutes. So it's a good deal, but no problem, Danny. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for watching. Keep watching these and you'll get an idea for it. And let me know any questions you have. I'm happy to answer them on stream or come join us in our premium Discord. But the Sandin thing, I mean, I don't think you're going to need a lot of value tonight, but it's worth noting that he is back. So our top grading lineup is a 4-3 with Columbus and the Blackhawks. And they have Jet Greaves. So I guess Merzlikins is not playing. Jet Greaves is expected to start. You get the 3 EV1 guys on Columbus. You get to throw Chikrin in there. You get the Blackhawks without Bedard, but okay. You get correlation here with Nazar and Bertuzzi on EV2, and then you throw Burakovsky in on the power play. Okay. Why not? Let's see our top 10 lineups if it's all these kind of stacks. Let's see what kind of stacks grade the best pre-build. Now, obviously, okay, so a lot of 4-3s today grading well. We get some 5-2s and 5-mans in there. Of the 4-mans, a lot of Columbus. You get some San Jose. But Columbus showing up really good in the early going. And it makes sense. They got Calgary. They shoot a lot. They're fully correlated on their even strength 1. The price is there. The ownership's a little bit lower. I mean, I imagine we'll look at like the projections and just see where we think things are going to go. We usually do that first. But Vancouver is so cheap, and Seattle and Calgary for their totals are so cheap. And Toronto's got the highest total, but they're not cheap. But you could get all these other teams and throw in whatever you want with them. Let's take a look at 20 lineups and see if we get any other stacks in there. San Jose, still a Columbus kind of slate. You get some Chicago. But right now in the early going, if we were to use Goldie's projections and build lineups and then sim them against the field using SaberSim Sims, we're going to get Columbus grading really well right now in the early going. Now, why do I always say the early going? Well, because things will change, right? Things will change as we get closer to lock, and we will get sharper ownership, sharper projections. Some news will happen. And as the ownership gets sharper, the field we sim against gets more accurate. WH. I don't know what that means, Danny. But as the field gets more accurate, this will change too. But in the early going, and it is a demonstration of the power of these tools, this is how we do it. So I'd be inclined to play one of these. The only thing I'd worry about is being bunched up with other SaberSim users, which is like a thing in a 100-man field. But Columbus looking strong. We'll see how that changes. Now, one thing we like to do is like take projections and do a hand build. It's not like the most important part of the process, but it's fun, and B, it's like a way to get our juices flowing, get an idea for what you could do. I was playing around with Vancouver. You could do anything. I mean, you could play their correlated line 1. You could throw in Sherwood as the last power play guy and get like a Quinn Hughes. He's so good. 7,000 is probably too cheap for him. I don't know who's the best goalie. Just say we correlated it with Demko. I think you could still do anything. You can get an AM in there if you want. You get Celebrini. It's going to look good. We can go like him and Klingberg on the power play. You still have plenty. P.S. Suter's been good. Bertuzzi getting power play time. Oh, we can't play him against our goalie. Not that we have to do that. You get Snuggerud on power play 1. Cowan's on power play 1 for what it's worth. I don't think he looks great. Farabee on line 1 for Calgary. I mean, there's so much you could do if you play Vancouver. I would be playing the smaller contests. I don't have a lot of money starting out, but I want to play. I used to pay people for lineups and wasn't doing. I wouldn't pay people for lineups, Danny. Those are going to be bad lineups. They have no incentive to be good lineups. There's just I don't see it. You're also like probably going to dupe with the other people that paid for those lineups. I just can't think of any reason why you'd want to do that. Playing in the smaller stuff is fine though. Like the mini max and stuff like that is fun, and the Sims can really help with that. And there's a lot of guys playing those and grinding away using SaberSim and doing really well. There's no embarrassment in playing the small stuff. I don't see why not. Maybe I should be playing the small stuff. One of the reasons I only play my single entry in this contest is because I have a toddler and I do daycare pickup right around lock. And so with him running around, I can't manage MME stuff with like news and lineup changes and when the lines come out and change and any of that. And then late swapping becomes an issue. So that's actually the reason I don't play some of the smaller MME stuff. It's not because it isn't plus EV. It probably has more EV than what I'm playing. But I'm in it for the fun too, and this makes it more fun for me and gives me a chance to do it and have a lot of control over what I do. So it's like on DK, the 10 cents, and on FD, the 5 cents. Would you still recommend SaberSim for small? Danny, that's a good question. It depends where you want to go with this. If you want to build up a bankroll, then SaberSim would be a great way to do it, to grind those 5 and 10 cents, right? And you grind them, you build up, you get a bink, you get a hit, you get a win, your bankroll gets bigger, you keep grinding those, you maybe add a little something more, and so on. And you grind your way up using the tools. And then SaberSim's worth it, but you have to understand that you're eating a big expense up front that's going to be more of an expense than what you're playing. If you're just playing casually and you're just throwing a few cents in there, I wouldn't pay for SaberSim, right? Like, do you really want to pay? SaberSim is an amazing tool, and it does amazing things for us. But you got to be playing a pretty significant amount of volume to justify the price. So just in full transparency, I mean, yeah, we sell it. And I can't recommend that if you're just playing those casually and you're not trying to build up and go somewhere with it, that there's any reason to pay monthly for SaberSim. It just doesn't. Just build 4 3s, build 5 2s, build 6 6s. Be smart about it. Take a look at content and shows to get an idea for where ownership's going, and just have fun, right? But don't put down. I mean, what's the starter plan on SaberSim? $80, 90, like it's a great price if you want to build up, but if you're not doing that, then I don't see a reason to do so, Danny. I would just build on your own and have fun with it. That's my 2 cents, or in this case, 10 cents. I mean, here, yeah. So you could get SaberSim Core for $100 with all this other stuff, and I think it's a great deal if you're really looking to build a bankroll. So if you're not looking to build a bankroll and just want to have some fun throwing in the dimes and the nickel, no reason to pay $100 a month. Absolutely not. So yeah, let's see. So you could do a lot with Vancouver. You could probably do the same with Seattle. They just changed up their lines a bit, and they're fully correlated on Power Play 1. So if you wanted to get those guys in, it's like pretty darn easy. They're so cheap. You could do tons with them too. Deckard is expensive. You could play, who is it? I mean, you could do anything. You could Calgary's guy, favorite. Wolf's a pretty good goalie on a bad team. But you could do so much with Seattle here. Let's say we wanted to play the full power play because it's so cheap too. You can get in a Nylander. You can get in a Matthews. You probably get a Matthews, and like you can get Nyes. You can't play all these guys, but you get a Schmaltz. Carew is solid. I mean, so much you could do with Seattle, so much you could do with Toronto. You could do it with Calgary too. Their line 2 is fully correlated on the power play, and they are dirt cheap. You could throw in Kadri there if you want the power play. Peric is on power play 1 now at only 3,100. It's just too cheap. There's just so much value on today's slate. That's why I said like that Sandin thing. Normally that's like consequential news. A guy at that price who might play over 20 minutes on a team with a solid total. He's a solid player, but you just don't have to do it. You can get Matthews and Nylander. Oh, here you have to do it. Not supposed to show a full lineup, but look what you could do. So I don't know. There's just a ton of value spots on today's slate with similar totals. They let you do basically anything. So we'll see where the Sims get us. Right now it's Columbus based on our projections and ownership and what we think the field's going to do, but that always changes throughout the day as it sharpens up. But there you have a look at what we're doing. We can check news one last time. But yeah, don't forget, like and subscribe. It helps us out. Check out TrueDFS.com. If you are playing little higher volume than just the 10 cents or the nickel, you could get SaberSim, the core package, for $100. It's like right at the same price you'd pay for SaberSim alone when you consider the 30% discount. It's NBA 25-26 all caps. So you also get Sheets' projections, Goldie's projections, premium Discord, pay dirt model for DFS and for betting. I mean, the package couldn't be more full and robust. I don't think there's anything like it. that has that much stuff. So check it out. We appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe. And most importantly,